Welcome. My name is Catherine and I love music. Today I'm going to share with you my Cat Stevens albums and tell you how I became a fan. So here's our first album, For The Tillerman. It was his fourth studio album, released November 23rd, 1970, and many of Cat Stevens' best known songs are on this album. It starts off with Where Did the Children Play?, Hard-Headed Woman, Wild World, Sad Lisa, where he plays the piano, Into the White, which has a beautiful string arrangement, Father and Son, and he sings the father's voice in a baritone, and the tenor voice is the child. And I just want to point out the artwork on this album. It's one of my favorites in my collection. That's one thing I like about records is the artwork on the sleeve. So Cat Stevens had drawing skills. He attended university for 1 year with the goal of being an illustrator, but decided to pursue a music career instead. So Wild World was the first song that was released before the album. It reached number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it boosted the sales of this album when it was actually released. So in the US, it sold 3 million copies. It went gold in the UK and sold 70,000 albums in Australia. And Wild World was the first song I remember hearing on the radio when I was a kid. So I was born in December of 1970. By the time I was in kindergarten, my parents gave me my very own radio, and I had a little record player too. And on that radio, I heard lots of Cat Stevens songs growing up. This next album is called Teaser and the Firecat. It's his fifth studio album, and it was released October 1st, 1971. And this album really made me a fan. This is actually my very first LP when I was a kid. Besides It's Free to Be You and Me by Marlo Thomas, but these were songs played on the radio, so I count it as my first LP. So my favorite song is Moonshadow, and here's why. Teaser and the Firecat was also published as a children's book written and illustrated by Cat Stevens. And in the story we have Teaser in the top hat and his pet cat, Firecat. And the moon falls from the sky and lands on the barn, and Teaser and Firecat try to get it to go back up into the sky. It was also made into an animated film that incorporated the song Moonshadow. And I will leave a link in the description of a book reading of Teaser and the Firecat. It's worth seeing just to see Cat Stevens' drawings. And let me know if you remember this book in the comments. And if you have one, it's actually a nice little collector's item. The next song that was released was Peace Train, and it was released worldwide in September of 1971. And at live shows, this is pretty much a Cat Stevens anthem. And the last single released was Morning Has Broken. And I absolutely loved the piano on that one. It was played by a piano player named Rick Wakeman. And it's my goal to find the sheet music and learn to play this song. And I'm just going to show you the back of this album. It has Teaser's feet. The next album is Cat Stevens' Greatest Hits, released June 20th of 1975. And what does this record do for me? Well, first we get a new song. It's called Two Fine People. And they put a cover song on here called Another Saturday Night by Sam Cooke. And it was released as a non-LP single in 1975. So the album starts with Wild World. Is one of his most familiar songs. And then I get some new songs from albums I don't have. So that would be 1974's Buddha and the Chocolate Box. I get the songs Oh Very Young and Ready. And then in 1972, Catch Bull at 4, the song Sitting, which I absolutely love, and Keep It In, and yeah, Keep It In. So my favorite lines from these songs, starting with Sitting, is at the very end of the song. It goes, "Oh, life is like a maze of doors, and they all open from the side you're on. Just keep on pushing hard, boy. Try as you may, you're going to wind up where you started from." In the intro to Oh Very Young, I love the imagery in this song. Oh, very young, what will you leave us this time? You're only dancing on this earth for a short while. Your dreams will vanish away like your daddy's best jeans, denim blue fading up to the sky. And though you want him to last forever, you know he never will. And the patches make the goodbye harder still. So on the back of the album, it shows the track listing. And in really small print, just below that, it shows the release date and which albums the songs came from. And right at the top here, we have Cat Stevens' birthday. He was born July 21st, 1948 in London, England. And I don't want to forget to show you something else that came in this album. There's a poster. Oops, turn it this way. Looks like he's in Hawaii. That's the poster that came with this one. And very last album is this. So my very last album is a CD I bought in 2000. And this is a really great collection of Cat Stevens songs. There's 20 songs. And when you take this out of the jewel case, there's a book. And it's a very detailed biography of Cat Stevens and his life. And I didn't talk about that at the beginning of the video because there's a lot of information in that book. So the songs on here are in order of release date. It starts with Matthew and Son. The first cut is the deepest, Lady Dear Arbenville. And we get a new unreleased track called I've Got a Thing About Seeing My Grandson Grow Old. And I thought, why didn't we get this song sooner? It's so great. Well, he wrote this when he was hospitalized for tuberculosis, and it just didn't make it onto those 70s albums. And he remade this song in 2017 on the album The Laughing Apple, and he shortened the title to Grandsons. And I like both songs, but I think I like the new one better because he's writing it as an older man, and he changed the lyrics at the beginning. He's reminiscing about being a grandfather and having children and grandchildren and wanting to see his grandchildren grow up at an older age. And the first one's, he's sick when he's writing it, and he doesn't know if he's going to live or die. So they're both great, but I just like the other one better. So these songs on here range from 1967 to 1978. So these are the Cat Stevens albums that I have. And the songs from his 70s, the 70s, and the 60s too, especially Moonshadow and that children's book, are really what made me a fan as a child. And as an adult, I still love these songs. And I am hoping with his recent release called King of the Earth or King of the Land in June of 2023 that Cat Stevens will come to the United States and do a few shows. I would love to go see him. So thank you for watching. And I also want to say thank you to my new subscribers. Please in the comments share some of your thoughts about Cat Stevens. And have a nice day.